Okay, so lords, ladies and gentlemen, this is probably the moment you've been waiting for. I made a promise that I would get my book, The Grimoire and the Herbal, finished before Halloween of this very year, and I have done it. Now, we're at the state now whereby this is now live on lulu.com, Lulu Marketplace. Slightly different cover because I've had to update that a little bit. It now says the Transdeus perspective on it. Okay, so it contains a lot of information there. Rather a lot of my blood, sweat and tears has actually gone into this. The quantity of work I've had to go through to get the alternative health information, which is the first half of the book, which I call the Herbal, that's been an awful lot of reading, a lot of experimentation, a lot of putting things to the test, because I'm not just parroting what other people have said. On top of that, this book is, on the title, it starts off by saying The Grimoire, because I'm trying to attract the people who are involved in magic and witchcraft and occultism these days, because you people don't know much about healing. You say the word healing an awful lot, but do you actually know, like, the vast spectrum of the healing world? To which the answer is no. And have you worked out how all these things fit together? The answer there is no. I provide you with some guidance to bring you in the right direction for that. And when it comes to the second section, which is all dedicated to the magical stuff, the consciousness-based stuff, the ESP aspects and angle, the more spiritualistic, occultic and divination angle, I explain it all. And I explain a lot about the training, a lot about how you get yourself into the right state of mind, thinking things through in terms of what the right states of mind for different things are, and it gives you some perspective of the ways in which you can steer your training and your experiences as you carry on going through your life path. Which I think is very important. Also, it's the only book on magic in the whole wide world, as far as I know, which explains about the astral projection, about the visualized journeys, about the energy system to a certain extent, and also how to engage with it, as well as saying magic doesn't work. Because I want people to use words properly, and I want people to explain things properly. And I explain to you, again, in the Grimoire section of this book, the second part, why it is that this cultural trend that we've got of saying magic works or the power of prayer works has to end. And I think in subsequent writings I'll be going into that in more detail with the passage of time. Now, for those of you who've read some of my works before, you'll know full well I'm not the best writer in the world. There will be some grammatical errors and all this stuff, but you've got rather a lot of content there, and all of this stuff here, it's what you should have, right? The very first day, at the age of 19, when I went into my first Pagan Federation event, Pagan Link event, okay, I should have been given this on my first day. Before I even approach witchcraft covenants, magical environments, and chaos magic training and the rest of that, I should have read this first. Okay? I'm writing this for all the people who are going through that time of life, that particular exploration that we go through. And I want you to carry on with it, and I want to encourage you to do it, but I want you to do it with wisdom and with real thought. Okay? Often the word magic is used associated with wisdom, but then you speak to magicians and you question how much wisdom they've really got because they don't really understand the meanings of the words they're using. You come across someone who calls themselves a witch, but yet they don't have the functions in their life of a person who called themselves a witch of history. Okay, and on top of that, they also demonstrate lack of wisdom because they use the phrase magic works all the time, which is the least wise thing any person can ever do or say. So I want you to try and consider this to be a refinement of what we think magic is. Long after I'm dead, there will still be magic in the world. There will still be witchcraft. There will still be occultism. But we have to think very carefully about the ways in which we describe this, the way in which we talk about this, the way in which we understand it. Get yourself a copy. Seriously. And if you know of anyone who's getting involved in occultism or magic or witchcraft in any way whatsoever, then get yourself a copy to give to them, so that they can be involved in their interests and also have clear thoughts, and also to understand what healing really means and how hard it is and what is really required and the knowledge you need to get. Go onto lulu.com, buy the Grimoire and the Herbal, No excuses. Alright? Speak to you in a bit.